Hey guys, welcome to my channel Love to Learn. In this video, I want to share my interview experience with you guys. Okay, let me explain about the interview process and then let's go to the technical discussion. If it's come to interview process, I have got call from Naukri from recruiter from TCS, and if it's come to the interview rounds, I have technical and HR round. The technical round combined with the managerial round. Once the technical discussion is done, the same person will have managerial discussion with you. Okay, and it will take like after technical round, it will take some days for processing of the offer letter in TCS. I simply say have some patience for expecting the offer letter from TCS, and I simply introduce myself to the interviewer, and let me explain the technical things mentioned in my resume. The Java futures and springboot, hibernate, JPA, SQL, Gen5 with Mockito, Jenkins, Docker, OpenShift, SonarQube, Splunk for checking logs, and IDs, Eclipse. Okay, let me explain my experience with you guys. Then let's go to the technical issue. Okay, please come to me. I have 5 years of experience as a Java developer. I worked with multiple MNCs and service-based companies. If it's come to my clients, they are banking clients. I worked with multiple banking clients, and as we know, right, service-based companies means it's very hard to get projects which we develop from scratch. Mostly we'll get enhancements only. Even in my case, I mostly worked with projects which have enhancement and migration. I never had opportunity to work from scratch. Okay, so if it's come to my roles and responsibilities, mostly we participated in daily scrum calls and perform enhancement using this REST API with combination of Spring Boot, Hibernate, JPA, and fixing prod issues and writing test cases. Let me start with the technical issue. Okay, my first question asked was print a duplicate character in the given string using Java streams. Okay, here I have a string. I need to print third duplicate character in the given string. Okay, so let me start with that. String dot chars dot map to object. Now I need to convert it into char. Now we start writing the logic here. We observe, guys, we have some set here, right? What is the advantage of set? It will not allow duplicates, right? If you go to the method of set, we have something like add. Here, if you observe, this add method is returning boolean. It means if we add an element, if it is not duplicate only, then it will be added to this set. Okay, let me explain by writing the code. Set dot add of I. It means if we add a initially, it will be added, guys, but if we try to add the a again, it will not get added because set will not allow duplicates, right? And it will also return some boolean result every time we add an element. For the first time we added the a, it will give true because the element is successfully added, and the second time when we try to add the a again, it will return false. The reason is set will not allow duplicates, right? Using this add method only, we are trying to print the third duplicate item. I will show how. Okay, let me skip first two elements and limit the element to 1, and let me say for each system dot out println. Yeah, let me try to run the code here. Let me run as Java application. Okay, if you observe, we got the duplicate character, third duplicate character B. The reason for writing this skip and limit is, so initially what we are doing here, we are filtering the duplicate elements. It means we are allowing only duplicate elements to process further. So the reason for skipping first two elements is what is my requirement? I need to print only third duplicate character, right? So I am trying to skip A and D initially and limiting one element because I just want to print only third duplicate character. I don't want to allow C. For example, if I remove this limit, let's see what happens. It will allow B and C, right? So for example, if I remove this skip, so it will print only first duplicate character. That is the reason I'm using skip to and limit one. Okay, I hope you guys understood. And let's go to our second question. Print count of occurrences of every fruit in the given list using streams Java. Okay, let me go to this class. Okay, we have a list of fruits here. We need to print occurrences for them, right? Now what we need to do, let me say list of fruit dot stream dot collect collectors dot grouping by, wait, let me say there's dot grouping by function dot identity comma collectors dot counting. Here we are using this collectors dot grouping by method for printing the occurrences of every food. Okay, here let me say entry set dot for each system dot out println. Just I need to add another column here. Yeah, let me try to run this application. Yeah, if you observe, I have 2 occurrences of apple, 1 occurrence of grape, and 2 occurrences of mango. I hope you guys understood this, and let me go to my third question. Print employee ID, department, and highest salary from the employee table in every department using SQL. Okay, means my third question was a SQL query. If you observe, I have an employee table here, right? First of all, let me try to retrieve all the elements from the table. Okay, here we can check we have some 20 number of employees, right? Now I need to print employee ID, department, and highest salary from employee table in every department. Okay, now let me write the code, query here. Select employee ID comma department comma max of salary as salary from employee group by department. Okay, there is some issue here. Okay, unknown, I think just employee. Oh yeah, sorry, there is some typo here. Yeah, we got the result, right? Now let's go to our fourth question. How many isolation levels we have in DBMS? We have 4 type of isolation levels: read uncommitted, read committed, repeatable read, and serializable. I suggest you guys to go through these isolation levels in detail, so it will be helpful if any interviewer dig this question in bit more in detail. Okay, and let's discuss difference between hash map in Java 7 and Java 8. Before Java 8, hash map used linked list to handle hash collision, which resulted in big O and time complexity in worst case scenarios. But after Java 8, hash map started converting the linked list to balanced binary trees when a bucket size exceeded 8 entries, which improved the worst case scenario to big O log n. Okay, it means earlier we got big O n in the worst case scenarios, and if it's come to the time complexity in Java 8, it is improved to big O log n because it started converting linked list to balanced binary trees. Okay, our next question is how many ways we can create a thread and which is the best approach. Actually, we can create thread in 2 ways: by extending thread class and implementing runnable interface. But the best way to create a thread is by implementing runnable interface, guys, because while implementing runnable interface, we can extend any other class, so we won't miss inheritance benefit. But if we extend the thread class, we cannot extend any other class, right? Because Java will not support it. That is the reason implementing runnable interface is the best way, so we can utilize the inheritance benefit here. How does method overloading behave with null arguments? Let me show them in practical. If you observe, we have a class test m overloading, and we are performing method overloading on this method, right? Here it is accepting argument of type string. Here it accepting arguments of type object. But usually it's a bit tricky question, guys, because both object and null accept null arguments, right? So let me try to run the application first. The result will be string null. Okay, I'll explain the reason why Java chose this string null. The reason is Java chooses the most specific method when there are overloaded methods that can accept null. And here in our case, string is the most specific than object because the string is subclass of the object, guys. That is the reason Java chooses string. Okay, that is the reason we got the result string null. Let me go to our next question. Can I make protected method as public while overriding it? Yes, we can make a protected method as public while overriding. Let me show it in practical. Let me go to this method. If you observe here, we have this protected method, right? And here when I try to extend this test class to a test I'm overriding class, here I've overridden this demo method with access specifier public. Let me try to run this application. Okay, there is, yeah, sorry, let me create a main method here. Let me say test I'm overriding. Let me create an object for it equal to new, and let me call this demo. Yeah, let me run the application now. I'm getting the result, right? Okay, for your convenience, let me say I'm overridden method. To prove this, it is overridden. Here now you got it, right? We can make our protected method as public when we are overriding it. But here there are some rules, guys. We cannot reduce visibility of method when overriding it in subclass, but we can improve its visibility. It means I can make protected method as public because we are increasing the visibility. But if this method is public and if I try to make it protected, it is not possible. Let me show you that. You'll get some error. You cannot reduce the visibility of inherited method from test. Okay, I hope you guys got clear idea regarding this question. Let me go to our next question. Explain by consumer interface with example. First of all, by consumer interface is an interface which accepts two input arguments, but it will not return any result. Let me show it in practical. Let me go to the by consumer example, and here by consumer, let me say string as input argument and output input arguments, because it will accept two input argument but it will not return anything. Okay, and let me say I comma j. Let me try to print something here. Let me say I j. Let me try to call it bi dot accept welcome to my channel. Yeah, let me try to run this application. You can observe, right? But actually in interviews, every interviewer is expecting real-time example for this. It means they are expecting us to explain where we are using this by consumer interface in our code, okay, or in our code, or where it is using internally in the Java implementation. Actually, if you observe this, for each method in map class, here we are utilizing by consumer interface here, right? So when you guys are preparing for the interviews, if it is by consumer or by predicate or anything, get prepared with some examples where we are using it in the Java underlying implementation. So whenever an interviewer asks you a question, you can clearly explain them. Okay, what is Spring Boot versus qualifier? Actually here I was asked a scenario based question, then I moved towards this primary versus qualifier. Let me explain that. So have some patience while explaining this question. I have created a Spring Boot app, guys. Okay, here I have an interface. So what is the interface? Test service. In that I have a method test, and here I have service A and service B. These both service A and service B are trying to implement this test service, guys. And here we have a method inside it, right? So I'm just trying to print some messages here. So my question is when we have a interface and when two classes try to implement this interface, and when you start the application, what is the error we'll get? Okay, let me try to run the application. Let's check what is the error. Actually what happens here, we need only one bean, but we have two beans, right? That is the error we'll get. Let me check it here. The error will be, the application will be failed to start and field test service in com.loutoloan.sampler.controller.testcontroller required a single bean, but two were found. How to solve it? We can solve it by using other primary for the desired bean which you want to get invoked. If I want to get my service B to be invoked, then I need to annotate that service B with primary annotation. But here I want to invoke my service A. That is the reason I'm annotating it with @primary. Okay, and what is the @qualifier? And if it's come to @qualifier, if I want to invoke service B, even if service A is annotated with @primary, then I need to annotate this service B with @qualifier. Then service B will be invoked even if I annotate the service A with the @primary, guys. Okay, I hope you guys got it. Let's go to our next question. How to exclude specific transitive dependency from a dependency in pom.xml. We can use exclusions tag and we can exclude specific transitive dependency from a dependency in pom.xml, guys. Let's go to our next question. How to make a Spring Boot project as dependency in other projects. Now let's understand why do we really need to make a Spring Boot project as dependency in other projects. The reason is reusability of code. Let's assume I have 4 services A, B, C, D, and B, C, D are 3 individual services, and these 3 are using same type of security mechanism and same type of constants. It means I can simply say we are writing the code individually in every service, right? If I want to make change in this security due to some upgrade or anything else, I need to make changes in them individually, right? But if I how it is if I can create a reusable code here. So that is the reason we got this concept, guys. Okay, simply what I can do, I can create a service A. I can place all the security code in service A, and I can make service A as a dependency, and I can put all this dependency into service B, C, and D. So you can simply utilize the code in service A to all these 3 services. So if I want to make changes in the security code, what I can do, I can simply make change in the service A and build a jar. That's it. So if I build a BCD services, automatically the code changes will get shown here, right? Like that, for reusability purpose, we are trying to make the Spring Boot project as dependency. If you observe here, I have service A, and I want to make it as a dependency and you use it in service B. How I can do it? I'll show you that. Let me create a dependency tag here. Now let me go to the pom.xml and let me create artifact. Let me copy this group ID artifact ID, guys. Okay, and place it here. Now if I try to build this service A, what happens, it will be created as a jar, guys. So I can simply utilize this jar in service B in this way. Okay, we observe we have a test constants, right? In this test constant in service A, I have created a constant. Let me wait, my STS got stuck. Yeah, I have something like hello, string hello. Now I added this service A as a dependency in service B, right? After building this, I can use this test constants, guys. How I can means I'll show you that. Let's wait for a few seconds for the build got successful. Yeah, the build is almost done. Now let me say implements command line listener or command line runner. Here what I can do, I can just implement this method from command line runner, right? So here we have run method. Everyone knows, right? If you have run method, it will be invoked automatically when I start the application. Now let me say sysout test constants dot hello. If you observe, we don't have test constants class in service B, right? How we are getting it? How we are getting means we are adding making the service A as a dependency and adding it in service B, right? And we can utilize the code in service A into service B like this. Okay, I hope you guys got some clear idea how to make a service as a dependency and add it in another service, and what are the advantages of it. And my next question is post construct. If it's come to post construct, it is an annotation and it is used to indicate that a method should be executed after dependency injection is performed but before the application got started, guys. Okay, usually we generate any method with this post construct when we want to perform any kind of initialization logic. Okay, let me go to our next question. Approach to fix production issues. So interviewer asked me what are the different kind of production issues which I faced and how I have fixed them. So it's up to you guys. You may explain your experiences. Okay, let me go to our next question. How to test static methods in Mockito. If you observe here, I have created a springboot app. In that I have employee controller. I'm calling this check it method. Here we are calling it directly, right? It means it is static method. If we got true, then it will return up as a result, and if we got false, then it will return down as the result. Okay, if you observe here in the check it method, I'm just returning true by default without performing any logic, but I want to test false case scenario also. It means I'm expecting down as the output. Okay, how I can do it means I can do it by using mockito.mock static method. In Mockito, we have this mock static method. By this, we can mock our static methods. Let me try to run the application so I can prove it. You observe my test case is successfully passed. It means I am successful in mocking this method and returning false. So that is the reason I got down as string. I can say like I got the down as a result when I'm trying to call this health check method. And my next question was some basic questions on Docker commands. So interviewer expected me to say some Docker commands which I know. So I suggest you guys to refer some Docker article. Okay, let me go to the next question. Tools for checking logs. In our project we use Splunk for checking logs, guys. So that is the final question, guys, and I have some tips for you when you are attending the interview. Even I said, right, I have a 5 years experience as a Java developer. Even I have done some internal evaluations for project interviews and all. The most common mistake made by every person while attending the interview is they will put many things on their resume. Okay, if they don't know Mockito, but still they put it on resume. Even they don't know cloud, but still they put it on resume. Please don't mention anything you don't know on resume, guys. It will create bad impression for the interviewers. If you know something, then only you have to mention it. If you don't know anything, you just need to clearly tell the interviewer when they have asked the question. Please don't try to manage. Okay, it may create so much a bad impression for the interviewer. Even I have observed many people while attending interviews, they'll put many list of technologies or frameworks, but when I asked some questions on that, they are not able to answer that. So please avoid that mistake, and all the best for your future interviews. Thank you.